Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be a bit of a shorter one, but the goal is that we're going to go over the books that I want to unhaul. I recently did a scan of my bookshelf and all the books that I had, and I figured it's time to get rid of some of the books that I either know I'm not going to read or I've read them and I don't enjoy them. I'm tired of looking at them, etc. This will also be some books that I think would have a better home than being here because I want my shelf to be a reflection of the books that I love and I recommend to people after I've read them. Let's dive in. I've made a couple different piles of the books. They're just out of view, so you can't see them. But we're going to be talking about like 15 different books today. So it's not like a huge unhaul, but it's going to feel cathartic getting rid of all these books. The first pile that I'm going to go through is the ones where I am not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them, but these are only 2 books. So the first book that I have is The Project by Courtney Summers. I really liked this book. It's a YA thriller. We're following 2 sisters essentially that get caught up in cult behavior. I read this book last year, gave it 4 stars, thought it was fine. I actually pre-ordered it when it came out in like 2021. It's a really nice book. It's still in like perfect condition and everything. I'm thinking that this book will probably go to the local high school that I'll be a librarian at. I think that's what I'm going to do. Otherwise, it'll probably just get sold to a used bookstore. Second book we're going to talk about is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. My best friend from college who watched my videos, gave me this book. So I want to keep it for nostalgic value, but this was not my favorite read. So I'm still kind of deciding what I want to do with the book. The Song of Achilles is like a Greek mythology inspired book where we follow Achilles and Patroclus, and it's told from Patroclus's perspective, but this is like if they were gay and then following the Trojan War after that. All the bookshop girlies and people on the internet love this book, but sadly, I am not one of those people that fit into the category. I loved the first 100 pages. It was sweeping, romantic, so well written, but then so much war. And I didn't know that going in because the only things you would see are people crying on the internet about this book. I just thought it was okay. The writing was really beautiful, so I'm not sure where this is gonna go right now, but I figured I would talk about it. Next pile is the I am just probably gonna donate these books because I don't know what to do, and I'm like, with them. First book is a book I had to read for my job, which is called Traction by Gino Wickman. This was the book that single-handedly made me realize I didn't want to work in the corporate world anymore. I couldn't get through it. I was so over it. It's gonna really help someone else, but for me, I did not care. I did not care at all. And I love reading nonfiction, but like not business nonfiction. That was a horrible experience. The next book is I have Any Man by Amber Tamlin. This book is very well loved by 2 of my favorite booktubers, which are Gabby Reeds and Katie Colson. So I wanted to pick up the book and read it as well. I got it for like $3 at a used bookstore. This book has a lot of like darker themes, but it talks about essay from the male's perspective as victims, and it's told from like the different perspectives, but it plays around with like form quite a bit. It's a very cool book, but it's just not one of my all-time favorites, so I don't want to keep it on my shelf. So I'll probably donate this book, honestly, and hopefully someone else can get some love out of it. But the reason I'm just going to donate is because it's a well-loved copy. Like, I don't think I would even get much from it. It's a good book. Just check trigger warnings if you end up reading it. Another book that's in really nice condition is Hawks Harbor by S.E. Hinton. S.E. Hinton wrote The Outsiders, which is one of my favorite books, as well as That Was Then, This Is Now. And I saw that this book came out like 20 years after those, and this was like one of the most recent books that she wrote. So I was so curious, especially because it was published in like the early 2000s, and one of the main subjects that this book covers is like mental health issues and a person in like a psych ward. I was like, "Ooh, I want to see how that, was reflected back then versus now. Could be really interesting. But I got about 70 pages into the book and was like, wow, I am not interested in this whatsoever. Bit of a bummer, but it was pretty cheap at a used bookstore. So I might just donate this. Hopefully, someone else can find it because it's in really nice shape. The biggest stack that we have here is the stack of books that I am going to take to a local book exchange. So, in the city that I live in, local book people get together and you can bring books in to swap with people. So, like, I've done that before where if you bring in like 5 books, you can leave with 5 books that you like swapped with people. It's a really fun event. I haven't gone to one in a while, but I've got some really good contributions I can take to the next one. The first book is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This book is really beautiful. I enjoyed reading it, but it's not an all-time favorite, and I think it's going to get lost in the scuffle of me thinking about it. This book follows 2 magicians that are stuck in a competition with each other, and the whole concept is like there's this circus that disappears overnight, or it appears overnight. There's no rhyme or reason for how the circus appears. It's very like lyrical, magical, but for me, I felt like the story wanted to be character driven and it didn't hit that mark, and that's really important for me. This one I'm really sad about, but I have to be true to myself, and that is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I heard so many lovely things about this book, and I thought I was gonna love it, but the more that I've sat with it, the less I like the book, which is really sad because objectively, let me tell you what it's about, because this on paper sounds like it would be like my favorite thing ever. 2 authors secretly pining for each other over years after they had like a 7-day fling when they were teenagers in high school. And then all of a sudden, they like reconnect at this big author event, and we realize that their stories have been inspired by each other and they've been secretly writing to each other for years. Like, does that not sound hot? Exactly. So why didn't I like this? I don't know. I think my expectations were way too high, and this was just a 3-star book for me. Since this book is so loved, it's going to go to someone else who really values it more than me. The girlies are going to gobble this up at the book exchange. Next book is a book that I think is really beautiful, and I'm a little sad. That is The Tropic of Serpents by Marie Brennan, and it's like the Lady Trent series. So this is like a natural historian type fantasy book where this lady's like cataloging dragons and things. And I just don't feel any call to this book, especially because I tried to read Emily Wilde earlier this year and it wasn't like my favorite thing ever, but I'm going to revisit it. And this book was just taking up space on my shelf. I had gotten it for $1 from a garage sale, so it's not like I'm missing out on a lot, but the edges are deckled, which is like one of my favorite things ever. It's probably going to go to Book Exchange or I might donate it. Next book is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chokshi. I read this last year during the fall, which was perfect. It was an atmospheric little read. It was a good time. But ultimately, I don't think about it too much. And usually, when I can't stop thinking about a book, that's when I know I really liked it. It's basically like a gothic fairy tale and a sapphic undertone female friendship had a baby. And that's what this book is. I really loved the writing in this. I thought it was beautiful. I just didn't connect with the story as much as I was hoping to. Okay, this one, I'm like disappointed with myself. This is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. This was on our horror book club reading list for one of the months. And so I got it used for like $10 and then didn't even read it. I don't even know what it's about. I literally just bought it for book club that I didn't even attend. So kind of disappointed with myself on that front. This will just be rehomed to someone else. The book, like the paperback's in like perfect condition. So like it's the perfect candidate for like a book exchange event. And that's where it's going to go. Next book is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This year has been the year of horror for me, and it's made me realize that like I don't love this book as much as I thought I did. It is like I've read like a lot of Grady Hendrix books, which I've enjoyed all of them, but I've never given any of them 5 stars, nor have I had the inclination to go back to them. And it wouldn't be the first horror book that I would recommend to people. But the funny story with this book is that I actually got it from my friend who tried to read this book and was so disgusted with it that she was like, I don't want it anymore, just take it. And I said, okay, I'll read anything. It's just funny because she's definitely like a historical fiction, literary fiction type girly. So the thought of her reading this book in any capacity was hilarious to me. But this is my favorite of Grady Hendrix's books, but it's taking up space on my shelf right now, and I don't feel the need to really keep it. This book is interesting though because Grady Hendrix does write from the female perspective really well. This is a group of like middle-aged ladies that live in the South, and it's during like the time of like the satanic panic where like women can't like read or like get involved in paranormal things without people freaking out about it. So these girls host like a murder book club together, and then eventually this dude moves to their town and they're like, he's sketchy. So they think he's a vampire, and the story goes from there. It's chaotic, disgusting, and hopefully going to make someone else squirm. Next book is another book that I'm really sad about, but I did not love Graveyard Shift by Emma Rio. This is their latest novella, also a deckled edge. Love. And this was the Barnes and Noble exclusive edition that I used for my birthday gift card. I could have bought something else, you know. I love If We Were Villains by Emma Rio. It's on my favorite shelf right here. This story felt half baked and underdeveloped, and I feel like if it was a full length novel, I would have been sat and fully invested, but it didn't hit the mark. This story follows a bunch of people who work like the night shift, which is often called the graveyard shift. And they see at this like cemetery that someone is like burying things in the ground and digging holes there. And they're trying to solve the mystery of what's going on. It did not hit. I wish it did. It didn't, though. But I'm sure there are tons of other people lining up to read this book, so it wouldn't be a problem rehoming it. And that's where we're at. Ugh. Next one might be like the most disappointing out of all of them. I really wanted to love the Thursday Murder Club, but I ended up DNFing it after 130 pages. Too much going on, too many perspectives, couldn't get into it. Premise of the book is that we're following a group of people in a local retirement home who get together like every Thursday to try to solve cold case murders, and then it eventually carries over into their real life where they're no longer solving cold cases but warm cases, question mark. I don't know what you call that, current cases. Anyways, I wanted to love this book, but I feel like it didn't quite hit the mark for me. So this will be going to a book exchange. I'm not too sad about it. And the final book for this Unhaul is actually a book that I read from one of my Sapphic Book Club picks. And it's a short story collection called Girlfriends by Emily Zhao. This is cool though because Emily Zhao is a Michigan author. So it was like, oh, that's awesome. And her work is actually pretty great, but I just won't see myself revisiting the short story collection. This was kind of interesting though because it takes place in like modern times and it's like talking about the trans experience as well as like the sapphic, gay, queer, whatever label you want to put on it kind of experience. And it felt very real and raw and I enjoyed it, but I almost dropped it. But I don't see myself returning to it nor thinking about it much beyond our discussion in book club. I'm not going to pull over all the books because it's a lot, but those were the books that I am going to unhaul and get rid of and leave a bit more space on my shelves for books that I want to prioritize and I care a little bit more about. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for being here and spending some time with me today. You can follow me on my social media handles, which is also Pages and Pastime on Instagram and Goodreads. I also have a Webtoons comic with my friend who's a really great illustrator. It's called Tales of Grandeur. If you're interested or you know someone who might be interested, pass along the message. But I will see you in the next video. Bye!